They say you are what you eat, so I don't eat chicken feet. But I love me some of Grandma's pickled beets. Well, cut it up, put it in the pan, throw it over your shoulder and see where it lands right here in Farmer's Kitchen. Maters, taters, beans and corn, the cows in the barn and the sheep's been shorn, kids in the barnyard chasing Grandpa's chicken. Spices, slices, cuts and dices, gonna slash your grocery prices right here in Farmer's Kitchen. Help you grow your garden good with recipes to suit your mood. Try some grub you've never tried before. Smash it with a wooden mallet. Gonna educate your palate. Right here in Farmer's Kitchen. In Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen. We're gonna cook something good now.
Funding for Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen brought to you by L81 Bottling Company. Taste, love, and share the tradition. Harvest Energy Solutions. Harvest cabins when you absolutely have to get away. Housewarmings, meeting all of your outdoor living and fireplace needs. Kentucky Sheep and Goat Development Office. Try something different tonight. Rose Farm Supply. Family farming and commitment to our customers since 1982. Salt Rocks, the flavor of life. Woods Equipment Company has every tool you need to make working the land as rewarding as hunting it. The city of Stanford, Kentucky. Come home to Stanford. Chrisman Mill Vineyards. Good Foods Co-op. Marksbury Farm Market. Weisenberger Mill.
Hello and welcome to Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen, where we've been gathering walnuts. You know, it's late in the season for walnuts, and a lot of people would think, okay, you know, they're black and they're gross, you know, they've become mushy. Well, we took one out. Now we got our little squirrel cracker here, but he's not sufficient. We had to bust one with the axe. All right, you be the taste tester. This is one that was in the juicy black one. It was already kind of past its prime.
Those are good.
You know what? The taste when they're fresh like this, the smell, it's just absolutely, it's not strong, is it? Not acidy? We're gonna kind of scrape these off. Obviously wear gloves, and they have to be fairly thick gloves. Then put them in water, let them soak a little bit. Once you get the hide off of them, scrape it off as best you can. Come back with a scrub brush. Later on, we're gonna do a recipe. I love cookies, and most of the time cookies aren't healthy, but if there's a healthy cookie, wouldn't you imagine these are probably some of the healthiest around?
Tastes good in the
It's almost like a good morning breakfast bar. Once you get to this point and get as much stuff off as you can, you're gonna set those on a piece of paper in a fairly dry environment, inside where it's dry, constant temperature, and you're gonna let those set a while. Now, once they've set a week or two, put them in a mesh bag, just like this. This is just a laundry bag. Hang them up and let them set for a couple months till they're sufficiently dried, and guess what? You have got yourself some good eating. Now, we cracked enough of these for a recipe that we're gonna do later. I'll put some of these in an area where the sheep will be stepping on them, and then guess what? We got them out of the holes. You can put them in your driveway and run over them with your car, and eventually it'll pop them out of the hole. It is a bit of a challenge to get all the meat out of there, but man, oh man, there's nothing like fresh black walnuts. But when we get done, would you promise to make me some of that chicken you make?
I will.
With the potato chips.
That sounds good. I'm hungry. Anyway, you make me chicken. You'll make me some soup.
I'll make you some soup if you make me your chicken. But meanwhile, we got a lot of work to do. Let's move ahead here. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I've been outside doing man stuff.
What kind of stuff?
Splitting wood. All our ash trees are down. And you know, that's how we stumbled upon those walnuts.
That's right.
Knowing the process and putting those up is going to come in mighty handy, because we cracked a few, even though they were black and mushy, just to see what the taste was like, and they were sweet and tender and wonderful. So now that we've got them up and drying, we can enjoy those for about a year.
Wow, really?
Yes. All right, let's get this wonderful recipe going. This is something used for chicken or turkey or whatever kind of poultry. This is a recipe that everybody has applauded you on. It's wonderful. All right, simple. We don't eat many potato chips. Grandma Nicki comes down, she brings potato chips. It's her fault. So we don't want to eat them all in one setting. So we put them in your recipe.
And this is in our recipe book on page 21.
Page 21.
And it's actually for turkey in the recipe, but we're using chicken. You can use bone chicken, boneless, whatever you want. We picked thighs.
Todd Clark
Because they're
raises
wonderful.
these in Fayette County, out in the country. We know there's no antibiotics, and he feeds them non-GMO food.
Makes
I
it
like
that much
that.
better.
All right, go ahead and get your
All right,
butter
this
melted
is
here.
so simple. There's not
Use a
that
whole
many
stick?
ingredients. We're going to use a whole stick of butter. We're actually going to go a stick and a half to 2 sticks, however much you want, if you like your butter. So we're going to melt our butter. And while that's melting, what I have here is a bag of potato chips. This is about 4 ounces probably. I want to get about a cup.
Okay.
So I got these in a bag. You know what some people do, a friend of mine that used to do this, she would got to the end of her potato chip bag, throw it in the freezer, in this and put it in a freezer bag, leave it in her freezer, just keep saving it up, make chips out of it. But I went ahead and got regular chips.
So you're squashing them up.
I'm just squashing them up.
Are you mashing them up?
I'm mashing them.
You know, as we look around our kitchen, we see antiquity. Now, we had Lois in here last week, and she was making that jam cake.
Which is wonderful.
Which, oh my goodness, I have jammed most of that in
Is
my
there
mouth
anything left?
appropriately.
Is there any chance?
Probably not.
Okay.
But you know what? The reason I love antiquity, when I look back at that coffee pot, that white coffee pot right here, Dolly Hawkins'
That was her
father
dad's, yeah.
used that. Okay, listen to this. We went to the Ruby Rooster in Shelbyville looking for cool, older stuff, and we found that mixer that Lois was using.
Right.
Guess what happened?
What?
We got a picture from down there, and I think it's the Gill family. I'm going to find out exactly what's going on. The daughters saw that on our show. Their mother used to use that,
And they recognized it?
and they found out it was going to be on our show, and they literally wept when they saw that being used. So here's my invitation to that family. Here's what I would like to do. I would like the family that owned that mixer, that's from somewhere around Shelbyville, to get one of their mother's recipes, come here with us, use that to make their mother's recipe.
Great idea.
And this, you know, the stories. All right, your butter's ready.
I'm ready.
by the way.
All right. Back to the chips. This is about a cup of chips, maybe a little more. And I have a cup of flour, seasoned flour if you want, flour, salt, and pepper. And I'm mixing them kind of even parts. It's kind of like our little shake mix here.
And for the most part, we do fairly healthy dishes. This is not one of them.
Yeah, it's kind of bad. This is very simple, and I'm going to be dirty here, but I'm not going to touch anything else. Keep my left hand will be my dirty hand. Salt and pepper.
Because there's not nearly enough salt in those chips.
No.
Let's add just a little bit more. And obviously, if you have doctor's orders not to eat this sort of thing, then don't.
Don't do it. And we're going to just salt and pepper these.
Or eat just a little bit of it.
That's right.
Surely you can get away with just a little bit of it.
And I like to double dip these too, so we're going to brown them up a little, and then we're going to double dip them. All right, we're just going to let this brown a little bit. If you want to flip them, you want to be my
Flip
flipper?
'em?
Yeah. And when it looks like it's a little brown on each side, we're going to double dip these, because we're going to really, and see, that's all you want right there. See how that's
So
looking?
just lightly brown them.
And we're going to then double dip and brown them up one more time. And this is great with your wild turkey too. I love this with turkey. And some people don't use potato chips. I remember you could use, some people like Doritos or barbecue potato chip if you like a flavored chip. Flavor your, whatever you want.
Now, we got so excited about our walnuts, our gazillions of walnuts, and we're going to be working on that for a while to continue to store those because they're too good to waste.
Right.
And we'll leave the squirrels some of them. We have literally tens of thousands of these. The pig
we
pen's
do.
full of them. Later on, you know how I like oatmeal cookies.
You do?
Oh, it's one of my weaknesses. We incorporated our walnuts into that. We're going to do that in just a little while, but right now I'm still thinking about
About the chicken.
the chicken. You like where you're at?
Yes.
Now it's time to
I want
double
to
dip?
double dip. So if you want a fork, because I got a dirty hand, throw them one at a time in here. I'm going to shake them around and put them back in.
Shake and bake.
Shake and bake. We need a little more coating on these. You don't have to do this, but I think you should. All right. Another one?
That's called double dipping.
This is my double dip. And we're not even going to waste this coating. We're going to reuse this too.
So remember, next time you've got a bunch of chips in the bottom of a bag, or Ritz crackers, anything like that, any of the junk food that we never keep in our house.
2 more to go. And then we're just going to brown those quickly again, and they'll be ready for the pan.
I like where you're going here. It smells heavenly, by the way.
Let's just go ahead and throw that other little piece of butter in there too. All right, if you want to they can brown quickly now like this, do a quick flip. And they're looking about ready. You don't have to, it's not like we're fully cooking them. We're just kind of browning them and sealing the meat in this nice, wonderful butter.
Sealing the moisture in.
Yes. And they look good to me. I say those are ready to throw in the pan.
Ready?
Yes. You want to throw those all in? Just kind of lay them around in there.
And we're preparing a broccoli casserole, which we have with this. And that's on page, I think, 13 of our cookbook. And that is absolutely wonderful. It goes on great with this. You can have some candied carrots as well, which we like, our candied carrots.
And I'm going to take some of the coating, sprinkle it on here. If you want to go ahead and pour some of that butter on there, actually the rest of it if you would.
There's not enough butter.
No, this is what it kind of cooks in. This makes a great gravy too if you want mashed potatoes.
You know, butter's all natural. It's just
It's
cream.
true.
It's out of a cow.
Pull it all in there. And that's what it's going to cook in. And I'm going to use a little more of this.
All right.
What do you think?
Anytime you're making chicken, if you want to give it just a little bit of that Colonel Sanders taste, take some of that Telecherry pepper and grind it up, and a little white pepper.
Good idea.
I'm telling
Yummy.
you, you'll have those little overtones of,
Yummy.
I know something the Colonel might have done.
Will you do pepper for me then? Because
Pepper.
my hands are very dirty. A little more pepper on top.
Okay. People hear us talking about Glenn. You know who Glenn is? Glenn is the Pepper Bandit. Yep, that's right. If you don't, let me tell you something. We made so much fun of Glenn. We took an Alaska cruise and went with these guys. And Glenn says, "I love your show." He said, "But you use too much pepper."
Should have never said
And I
that.
said, Glenn. So we've been pestering Glenn for the longest time. But they are the nicest people in the world. And Glenn has not actually been in jail for pepper
I don't
abuse.
think for pepper.
Not for pepper.
I'm not sure. All right.
All right.
Let me grab some foil.
Grab some foil. Now, this chicken is wonderful. I tell you what, you can go ahead and grab that broccoli casserole too. And I'll close this and then set this down. Now this broccoli casserole is also, we put cauliflower in this too this time. That's what page is that on in the
That's
book?
13 in the cookbook.
Page 13 in the cookbook. All right, now this chicken is absolutely wonderful. Now, ooh.
You ready for some of this?
Let's go ahead and dip that out. You know what? In my snacks I was munching on earlier, I love this with anything. I'm serious about my craving and addiction for these snacks. Let's go ahead and put out another piece of chicken.
Piece of chicken?
Oh man, this is absolutely wonderful. Now you can do this if you've harvested your wild turkey. You can do this with any sort of poultry.
What you want? You want a lot,
Keep
don't
on
you?
coming.
More?
Oh yeah.
Really? Wow.
Oh yeah. Look at the colors. Look how
That's
they're wonderful together. You know, I could put some of that on that like a cracker and eat it.
I don't think so.
All right, let's try the wonderful chicken. I already know it's delicious.
What do you think? Delicious.
What did you say, 2.5 hours?
2.5 hours?
325?
325 at 2.5 hours.
And this is the perfect side dish.
Delicious.
You've fried some chicken. You've roasted a chicken. You've crock-potted the chicken. And you have some meat left over.
Right.
What can you do with that? I don't mean to brag, but this chicken noodle soup, to me, well, you talk about it because I can't.
It's so wonderful. It's amazing. It is really good. It's
You know what?
delicious.
I do it a little differently. Let's clean this mess up. Let's go do mail call.
Okay.
We've got some wonderful letters and recipes and recipe books in the mail. And then let's eat a little more of this first. Okay. Then we'll clean it up. Let's go do mail call. It's time for Country Kitchen Mail Call, brought to you by Nicki's Tiny Piano and Our 3 Hands. All right, welcome to Mail Call, and today we have a letter from Peggy Sue Bobbitt Harley. It says, Mr. Farmer, I watch your Country Kitchen on a regular basis, and I heard you speak about getting cookbooks from different places. In 2009, our family had a Relay for Life team in Washington County to honor our mother, who we lost to pancreatic cancer on July 7th, 1995. Sorry to hear that. During that year, we put together a cookbook to celebrate all the good meals we had over the years. Our mother was a rock. She was the mother of 6 and grandmother of 15. We hope you enjoyed this cookbook. And I was thumbing through this, and there are some wonderful, wonderful recipes in here. We're going to pick some out. This is nice stuff. I mean, really, you can tell she was a real country cook. So when we use one of these, we will send you a mug from the Country Kitchen store. Thank you so much. All right, and here's one more from Madisonville, Indiana. This is from Myrna Loy Massey. Please overlook my writing. As I said, I've lost quite a lot of my sight, but I can still cook. And she goes on to tell us about how she's losing her sight. We hate to hear that, but she's been watching since the beginning. Thank you again for such a great show. And we are going to use some of her recipes next year. She gave us some pickling stuff with zucchinis, and if we do that, we will send you something from our store. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on our next mail call. All right, here's what we've got. Every now and then, the other night I wasn't feeling too hot. I wasn't sure if I was getting a head cold or was allergies or what. You got onion eyes.
I know, I feel it. I'm just crying emotional over your dinner.
Emotional over my dinner. This is completely mine. Mm-hmm. This is something I've messed with over the years, and it changes and changes. I finally got it to where I want it.
I love it.
When I wasn't feeling good, I wanted chicken noodle soup. There's something magic about that. And guess what? The next day, I felt better. I don't know if it's chicken noodle soup.
It was your soup. It's amazing.
But again, we got Mr. Clark's chicken. And this is how it works. I am actually starting to salivate thinking about this because it is really good. Now, this is going to be probably a little different from any other chicken noodle recipe. The basics are probably the same, but I'm going to start out a little bit different. You want your broth to have that buttery, rich taste, salty,
yes,
peppery. I like a lot of pepper in mine. Sorry, Glenn. A lot of pepper in mine because I want to feel like that it's cleaning my sinuses out. It's just, I don't know. Everything about this is magic. Here's the way I'm going to start. And did you ever get a bowl of soup and you never got enough noodles?
Not your soup.
Guess what? You're in control.
That's right.
You're in noodle control here. So you have as much noodles as you want. And I'm only going with a half a stick of butter. Now, what am I doing different here? I'm taking the onions and the celery. I'm going to take about 3/4 of a cup of each. And the carrots. And what am I doing? Have I lost my mind? I'm sauteing them. Now, Nicki's going to take the chicken that we have left over from various things, and we're going to put it to good use. Why am I sauteing the onions and the carrots and the celery in butter? Well, first of all, I want that rich, when I'm tasting that broth, I just want it to taste salty, heavenly, buttery. When you saute these vegetables, they have the magic taste of sauteed onions and celery together, along with that butter. And what else does it do? Because we're cooking in one pot, this is one pot dish, softens them. The flavor there, it's releasing. You know, if you cook it in there while it's boiling, it will release. But that's releasing all those flavors together. And I'm not going to get them, you know, really, really soft. I like for them to have a little bit of texture. Not a whole lot of crunch, but some. Now, here's where I'm coming in quickly. This comes together fast, by the way. I'm going to do 4 cups. And about 4 cups of water. Now, a lot of people would tell you to use dried parsley. Most of the time, it tastes like cardboard to me. So we go out in the atrium, we brought it in for the year, but basil. How heavenly. Does that smell like dried cardboard to you?
That's good.
It's a heavenly, wonderful taste. So if you will, give that a fine chop. Now, we're going to come back. Now, you can either use some thyme or you can use just a poultry seasoning. If you've got some poultry seasoning, it's got thyme, it's got black pepper, and it's got some nice overtones in there. Now we're going to come back with some salt, as much as you want. Make it so it's like you like it. That's entirely up to you, and doctor's orders on that. Pepper, I'm taking the cap off.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Lots of pepper.
I like lots of pepper. You like lots of
do.
pepper. And it's us eating this. So I'm going to come back with... Now, I'm not just playing around with this pepper.
You ready for your basil?
I'm ready for my basil. Now, this is probably a couple tablespoons. Yeah, put it all in there. And this gives it a nice, robust flavor.
Makes it
Adds
pretty.
that green in there. Now, see what we got going on here?
That looks good. Smells good.
Did you ever get chicken noodle soup and not get enough chicken?
Yeah.
Guess
Not this
what?
one.
You're in control of the chicken. You're in control of your kitchen. You're in control of the chicken. However many chickens you can catch, that's how many you can put in your soup. Now it's piling up pretty heavily in there, and this is just some random amounts. This is again up to you. I like to have a bite of chicken in every spoonful. Now guess what?
Noodles.
The only thing we have to wait on is the noodles. How many noodles do you want?
Lots.
As much as you want. This is a couple cups. Now look how thick that is. They're
That looks
standing up in there. Every bite is full of flavor, full of textures. All right, now we're going to do the finishing touches. Chicken bouillon cube. You can do 3, you can do 4. One other thing, and I was trying to get the perfect soup. You know, as a kid, you do all the canned soups, and it tastes pretty good as a kid. But there was one ingredient that I noticed was missing. You know what it was?
What?
Sugar. I know it sounds crazy, but a little bit of sugar.
A little bit? A little bit.
Really does wonders.
Yes, it does.
Just the sweetness, along with the basil, and the salty, and the pepper, and the butter. Now we're gonna let her boil. I'm gonna turn it up just a hair.
How long?
Bring it to a boil. As soon as that gets to a boil and your noodles are soft, it's time to eat. How quick was that?
That was quick. Let's clean up
And
the
it's
bowls.
delicious. Everything's fresh, everything's wonderful. All right, here we go.
Oh my goodness, it's good.
Now, whose fault is it if you make your soup and it doesn't have enough noodles in it?
Yours.
Yours. You can put as many noodles as you want.
Oh,
You can put as
wow.
much chicken as you want. You see this right here? You're going to get something in every bite. Now, let me tell you what. With the butter and the pepper and the broth and the chicken and the sweet taste of the vegetables, lightly sauteed, and the basil,
That's
then
delicious.
the pepper, boom, you have magic. Well, let's just Cro-Magnon on this bowl.
Okay.
Then let's come back. The only thing we have left is cookies.
Ooh.
We're going to put our walnuts to good use in just a moment. Now, I absolutely love oatmeal cookies.
I know you do.
And I love dates. One of my favorite snacks that's fairly healthy. Well, it's very healthy. You take a date or a fig and you take a pecan, wrap it up and eat it, and it tastes like
wonderful.
it tastes like derby cake almost.
Yeah.
You put a little piece of chocolate in the middle of that and you're good to
Makes
go.
it
Dark
better.
chocolate. Oh wow. So I started thinking, okay, let's make a cookie recipe. So you take your oatmeal cookie and you put a little twist on it. But actually, when you think about what's in this, you got dark chocolate, you have dates, you have walnuts, not too much sugar, you got an egg, you got some vanilla.
Kind of healthy.
It's kind of healthy. You got your fiber.
Right.
You gotta think about that.
What's simple about this, you don't even need a mixer. This is kind of all right here. We're going to do half a stick of butter, which is a 1/4 cup, and we're going to melt that.
All right, there's your butter.
All right. Butter pretty much melted. Now we're going to take a 1/4 cup of brown sugar.
Now, this is a small recipe because it's just for us.
I cut it in half, yeah.
All right, that's sufficiently mixed.
Okay.
I'm going to set this aside if you want to take that burner out of the way. Okay, I've taken the brown sugar and butter, put it in another bowl.
Is that an
Now make
egg?
sure that you cool that down so you don't scramble your egg.
And we're going to add half a teaspoon of vanilla. And that's going to be your wet mixture. Now we have our powder mixture, which is a 1/3 cup of flour. We're going to do half a teaspoon of baking powder.
Now this is a small recipe for us, a half recipe.
And half a teaspoon of salt. So it's maybe going to make about 12 cookies. All right, and you get to whisk, and I will throw this in. All right, now the last ingredients we're just going to fold in there. And this is the stuff that you like. We have a 1/4 cup of our walnuts.
Go ahead.
We have a 2/3 cup of oats.
All right.
We have a 1/4 cup of chocolate chips. And now we got the best part, the dates.
The dates.
You want to mix those in? And that's kind of a no mixer cookie.
Perfect.
All right, get us our cookie tray. And I'm just
Just
going
gonna
to,
plop them out.
we're going to plop them out. We got the oven at 350.
All right, now what a wonderful way to use our walnuts up. All right, let's pop
Ready?
them in. What's the temperature again?
350.
For
15 to 18 minutes. We'll check in about 15.
good time to talk about Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen Facebook page. Like it, see what we're doing, where we're going, and timfarmerscountrykitchen.com. If you've missed some recipes or missed some shows, check them out. There's plenty of them on there. All right, now the Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen clock will go 15 minutes ahead. All right,
Ready?
Ready?
I think they're about ready.
All right, you got the glove on. All right, quick,
They look
quick, quick,
perfect.
quick. Yeah.
They look good.
And scoop them off with a really old spatula.
Are you going to let them cool or are you just going to eat one?
That spatula's even got a story. If cookies could be good for you, this is about as close as you're going to get. How about that? Instead of oatmeal for breakfast, you can
That's a
have
good idea.
cookies.
With a glass of milk or coffee.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, I
you
can't
think?
resist. This one's thin.
Almost like a breakfast bar type, isn't it? Like a.
It's almost like an energy bar
Yeah.
or a granola bar.
I like that.
I think at this point it's just pretty much about
Good times
good friends.
and good eats.
We'll see you next week with a brand new Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen.
Yay!
Christmas is coming, by the way. The goose is getting fat. So am I.
Hey, that's my cookie.
To order a cookbook or DVD of the show, please call 502-319-0487 or email timfarmerck@gmail.com.
Special thanks to Furniture World Superstore, Kencove Farm Fence Supplies, Tater Knob Pottery and Farm,